All right, guys, what's happening? Simo here. Welcome back to another video. I'm absolutely smashing you guys with videos right now, but there's a very good reason for it. My hands are filthy. Should probably wear gloves more often. But there's a reason why I'm smashing you guys with video. It is almost New Year. I'm at around about 950 subscribers. I think 945 at making this video, but hopefully the one that is loaded up today will get me more subscribers. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before New Year, and it's the 9th of December now. So when I upload this video and you're watching it, if you've not subscribed and you do like what I post here on my channel, please consider subscribing and let's reach 1,000 subscribers before New Year.
Now I gotta ride or die.
Now, this is my 1.6 CVH Ford engine out of my Series 2 Escort RS Turbo. That is in a lot of bits. Now, what I'm going to be doing today is removing the sump, cleaning it off, and getting it ready for paint. But we're also going to be able to inspect the bearings to see what sort of condition they are in. Like I said, I'm going to be taking the sump off, inspect the bearings, clean the sump up, and get it ready for paint. Now, while I do have the engine on the engine stand though, let me know in the comments down below, would you guys rip the head off and replace the head gasket at the same time? This is a 3-owner car, right? 3 owners, get those fingers out there for you. A 3-owner car, genuine 80,000 miles, got all the old MOTs to back it up. It has been stock most of its life, very well looked after, but I am going to tune it, I am going EFI, and I am going to be running around about 200 horsepower, I think. Again, I got another question for you guys. So, would you replace the head gasket, or would you just kind of wait, and then when it goes, pop, then pull the engine out and go full forged build? That's the question. So let me know in the comments down below what you would do. My next question for you guys is also regarding the cam. Can I run around about 180 to 200 horsepower on the factory cam in a Ford Escort RS Turbo engine? I know there's a lot of cams out there for this car, for this motor. Some of them have bad reviews. Some of them wear out really, really quickly. If there's a preferred cam that lasts, that's good, that's durable, let me know what it is, and also if I need upgraded valves, springs, roller rockers, and all that kind of stuff. But guys, let's get the sump off and have a look at the bearings. All right, first things first, definitely got to get the music out and wheel the engine out into the sunlight because it's a fantastic day today here in Australia. So I'm just using my Ryobi impact driver here, an extension bar and 10mm socket to remove all of the nuts. Interestingly enough, there was like 1 or 2 of them were actually pretty loose and I probably didn't even need to use it to get them off. Usually the sumps are kind of gasket glued on, but luckily for me this one wasn't, and whoever put this sump back on last time after removing it whenever, I'm not sure if ever, didn't use any and it came off straight away. All right, so that came off pretty easily. Now these, as you guys would know, I'm sure, are my main bearing caps, and these ones on the connecting rods are my big end bearing caps. I don't have a angle torque wrench to redo those because it's a 2-stage torque setting. It's like 18 and then wait a certain time and then 90 degrees, and I don't have an angle torque wrench, so I'm not going to fuck about with them. However, I am going to remove this one and have a look and see what it looks like. Got the big old breaker bar with me today to get these off because these end caps are torqued on at 80 Newton meters, which is quite a lot to undo with just a tiny little ratchet. So big old breaker bar today to break that torque out and then unscrew them off. After that, they came off pretty easily. There was a little bit of jiggling, as you see at the end, to actually just try and get the end cap free of the bearing, but that's to be expected anyways. They did come off though pretty easily, and I was pretty happy with what I saw underneath, which you'll see in a sec. And everything is okay. So everything was really okay. It was quite nice and clean. There was some real light scoring on the bearing itself, but not much. Not anything I wouldn't expect from an 80,000 mile engine. For those of you in Australia that's watching, that's about 150,000 kilometers. So it's not a low mileage engine by any means, but it is for the age of the car, I guess. A lot of these cars have been round the clock, like 150, 160,000 miles, but this one definitely hasn't been. And the condition of the car shows that, along with all the previous MOTs and the condition of the bearings. Okay, so now time to clean the sump off. I just used a little bit of degreaser inside that, just basically poured it straight in, give it a bit of a scrub with a bit of a Brillo pad or Scotch-Brite. Just wanted to get as much of the old crud out as I could. There was a little bit of sludge in the bottom of the sump, so I wanted to get that off before I turned it upside down and started wire wheeling the main part of the sump. So I got the Y wheel out now, trying to just clean everything off, and it was doing an okay job, but not as well as I wanted. So I nicked off back into the shed and got out a stripping wheel, and the stripping wheel made absolutely light work of cleaning the sump out, getting all the rust off, and leaving a nice shiny finish. All right, so it's all off, cleaned as much as possible. As you can see, there's a little bit of like residue of the old paint still on it, but pretty happy with how that came up. So I need to paint it now, and I'm going to be painting in a high temp black paint and refitting it to the engine. But the problem is, guys, when I ordered my full gasket kit from the UK, for some reason or another, there was no sump gasket. So I took the sump off thinking, yeah, it's cool, I've got a sump gasket, I can put it back on. And turns out that I actually don't have a sump gasket, so I had to order one of those from the UK. They're a cheap gasket, but postage made it around about £50. So it's about $75 to get the gasket here to Australia. That's coming from Car Parts Express. Their shipping's usually pretty quick, so that should come, I reckon, like Tuesday or Wednesday. And here you can see the engine just chilling out, upside down, as things usually are in Australia. Now, while I'm waiting for that sump gasket to arrive, I thought I'll get stuck underway with cleaning out like the front crash bar and that, and just wire wheeling away all the surface rust, and then I'm going to just sand back the paint and key it up a bit and repaint. That's what I thought. And I got this side, and I was like, oh yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not great, but, you know, I mean, that'll do for the meantime. Definitely needs to be repaired. Definitely needs some work. And I was like, oh, this side, oh shit. So there we go. You can see it is big enough to stick a finger in. So that is going to have to be fixed before the engine goes back in there. So that's that. But just one thing after another with these old cars, isn't it, guys? And I guess that's kind of the reason why we like them, because it keeps us on our toes, maybe. No, that's definitely not it. It's going to be a lot of fun to drive when it's all back together, and I reckon 3 months. My neighbor popped by to see how it's getting on, and I said, 2 months, I reckon I can have it back on the road. But realistically, it's probably going to be 3, which means it's probably going to be more like 6. But it's summer here in Australia now. You guys know these cars have no aircon. I don't really want to tint the windows because it kind of takes away from the, you know, the heritage of the car. So if it takes 6 months, It's kind of the start of summer. The start of winter here in Australia in 6 months' time. So we should be okay by then. But guys, as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your support. Any advice or feedback you have for me on the car, on the build, anything like that, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. I always make a point of replying to everyone because you guys in the UK know a hell of a lot more about these cars than I do. See you next time.